Hi, this is Jason Anderson, and welcome back to our Pre-Veteran YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about one of our two big pillars of success. It is self-transformation and why you must do it to be successful for military transition. Before we get started, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the red button below the video tab here, and then also follow us on our LinkedIn company page. And with that in mind, let's get started. To get started on the backdrop of this video, let's talk about two very important things. One, there is 100% chance you are leaving the military at some point. Very few times in life can you be so sure of 100%, but this is one of them. And the next is, in order to be successful, you must self-transform. It's not optional. And the big bumper sticker to that is those that are able to self-transform will be successful. Those who are unable to self-transform will not be successful. Let's discuss why. To start things off and why self-transformation is so critical, let's just look at the numbers. First, you're leaving a less than 1% of the U.S. population, which is the active military component. And you're moving into a veteran population, which is 7% and decreasing of the U.S. population. So if you kind of take a step back and look at that, you're moving into what's probably the 93% of the general public, or you're going to become part of that system where that 93% of the general public are your co-workers, employees, hiring managers, and part of recruiting teams that are out there trying to get you employed. And here's the thing, that 93% that was not in the military ecosystem and is not familiar with what you've done is operating on a completely different system. And here's what I mean by that. The public sector, the one you are in the military right now, really has a mandate to exist through the Constitution. The private sector, on the other hand, has no mandate to exist, which means they actually have to go create business and create money before they can spend it. So guess what? That trickles down to who they hire, and this is why it's significant to you, because the systems are so different. So you're probably thinking, wow, okay, that makes sense, but I've never heard this before. Why haven't I heard this before? And this is one of these things that we talk about in pre-veterans. We want to be very honest with you and tell you what's going on with the environment out there, potentially researchers that maybe aren't helping you or trying to maybe be a little bit too nice or a little bit too gentle in dealing with you when they start talking about policy guidance they're given to the government for the TAP program and the research that supports it. Let me give you one very specific example about a 2008 VA-funded study that will really foot stomp the point I'm trying to make here. The 2008 study actually studied numbers from 1991 through 2006. So at the time, and it probably still stands as one of the most robust studies the VA has done, which was all-encompassing on transition and had employment-related items in there as well. As part of the research, it actually asked several questions. One of the questions, question number 7, is the one that paints the most interesting picture for you and how it actually stands in the way of helping you self-transform, because it's actually giving you a very mixed message and a very not productive message, because it's not telling you what the private sector is thinking of you. Okay, so let's go through this question real quick. Here's how the question goes. How might the promotion of the merits of the recently separated service members to business leaders improve private sector employment opportunities? I should also mention that this study had two parts. First, they did a survey of 1,941 recently separated service members, and then they conducted 7 corporate visits and 6 peer-to-peer consultations with senior executives, talent acquisition managers, and human resource directors at a variety of large companies spanning markets, products, and services. So as part of those corporate visits and the peer-to-peer consultations, here's a list of positive and negative attributes that actually these hiring managers, executives, and directors within companies stated about transitioning military members. As you can see from the list, the positive attributes are leadership, work ethic, reliability, discipline, maturity, team players, integrity, problem solvers, and project management skills. Now, if you've been kind of looking around in the space, you've probably seen advertising to that effect. And to a large degree, Pre-Veteran completely agrees with these attributes for military members because they've gained this in the military ecosystem and under the different services performing their missions out there for the national defense. So this obviously makes sense. Now for the negative attributes they have mentioned, and remember these are the HR directors that constantly communicated these negative perceptions as well. Inflexibility, rigidity, behavior limited to taking orders, lack of higher education, lack creativity, lack specific business knowledge, lack business and financial skills, risk of PTSD, and risk of the effects of combat. Now, the first time I saw these negative attributes, it quite frankly pissed me off. But then I kind of started thinking about them and I was like, wow, they're actually onto something. Not every one of them, but obviously the things they talk about business are true. And that's because there's significant difference between the public and private sectors, as we had mentioned before. So guess what? I'm going to read to you what their recommendation was to the policymakers within the government to moving forward and how to represent or market the recently separated service members. So hold on for that. I want to make sure I get this right, so I'm going to read it word for word as it's in front of you right now. Here is their recommendation. In order to promote the merits of the RSS, which is recently separated service members, to business leaders, the brand will need to emphasize the positive attributes and correct the misconceived negative attributes. What? Hold on a second. Did they just say the people that actually want to hire you, those are misconceived negative attributes? Wow, that's bold. Talking to the people who are actually going to hire you that say these things about you, and a lot of them have merit, and what they're trying to do is say that they're misconceived and discount them. Sounds like they're not really looking out for you. Here's where pre-veterans different. Look, I'm not going to fault the people who did the VA-funded study, but here is the bottom line. These are good intentions gone wrong. We need to get you to a better position so you are more ready for employment. And this is not helpful when they put out research and recommendations that sweep under the rug the different actual concerns that people have that are hiring you or wanting to hire you into their companies and into their industries. You know what I mean? So at Pre-Veteran, we're taking a completely different approach. We want to make you very aware of the actual environment out there, which includes the 93% of the people there that are not military related, who happen to sit in companies on boards and also do HR recruiting type activities to get you into the company, because this is actually what they're thinking about you. And maybe what we ought to be doing is working on the other side of the equation, helping you individually become more aligned to the private sector, another one of our tenets, and obviously understanding that you need to self-transform. With research out there and recommendations out there that are so misaligned and not helpful to you, there's no wonder why you're sitting there scratching your head saying, why has no one told me this? Well, Pre-Veteran's going to tell you this. And if you're ready to change your life right now and get ready for employment, we have an employment prep course that starts the 7th of June. And one of the primary purposes of that is making sure you're aligned to the private sector and also begin your self-transformation. And all of our courseware is geared directly toward that. So if you're interested in that, go to our courses page on our website, click there, and sign up for the course right now. Again, we know this is a tough subject, and we know some of this might have stung a little bit, but it's really important that we get actual information and actual factual knowledge of what's going on in the private sector, what they're thinking of you, in front of you, so you can make intelligent choices. You are a smart, capable adult, and we need to be bringing this actual environmental knowledge to you so you can begin making the best choices for your individual self. Well, that's the end of this video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like more information on Pre-Veteran in general, go to our Pre-Veteran website, or you can also follow us with the different articles we post on our LinkedIn company page. We'll see you next week with our new video. Looking forward to it.